Shall we start?
Yep, let's go.
Buyer's Remorse.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Remorse. I'm Darren.
I'm Justin.
And on this show, we force each other to play games that are stuck in our libraries in limbo, waiting to be played. Yeah, usually we try and pick out the really bad ones to play that we get in bundles. What did you play this time? What gem did I have you play?
Well, you're going to be very disappointed.
You didn't get to play Gold Rush, did you?
Why would I play Gold Rush? I gave that one to you. This one is Chip's Challenge.
Oh yeah, excellent. I hope you liked it. Otherwise, we're going to have to. There's going to be
words
fists,
after this.
Fists thrown.
All right. Chip's Challenge is a game that is only 88.4 megabytes. It says released in 26th of May 2015, but
then I was in middle school like 5 years ago.
You're much younger. This is a reboot, I believe.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the old one looked like. I bet it still sounds the same.
It was on Atari Lynx. That's what it came out for. Do you remember that old handheld, the Atari Lynx?
Was that a handheld, the Lynx?
Yep.
I think I'm confusing it with the Jaguar, which was not.
Yeah, the Jaguar was not. The Lynx was a big handheld. It was about this big, and it had a really tiny screen. They were notorious for getting broken. Mine's broke. I had to replace mine twice, I think. They came out with a Lynx 2, which was a bit more compact and looked a bit more like the Game Gear. And it was like a cartridge system, like an old Game Boy cartridge system that went in the back. And I played the hell out of this game, man. I love this game.
I do want to comment on that later. Overall, ratings are very positive. There is no recent ratings at the top of the page. It is now, I believe, a free game.
Oh, I paid for it. At least $1.
I'm pretty sure I did too, but now it looks like it's been made free.
Good stuff.
Which is fine by me. Released, yeah, like I said, 2015, but clearly not originally.
Nah, it was like 1990. I'm going to say 1992 or something like that.
Mm. Here's the description on the store page. Before Chip can join the Bitbusters Club and hang out with the girl of his dreams,
Nerd!
Melinda the Mental Marvel, he must solve all 144 challenge puzzles. Your bird's eye view can help Chip rush through the puzzles and mazes before he's deleted by monsters, traps, and the passage of time.
It's quite apt, actually.
Yeah, because apparently there is a time limit.
There is, and I've run it down before.
It is a Sokoban game. For you, I think this was one of your earliest ones.
Probably actually my first then, yeah. I didn't even know what a Sokoban puzzle was back then.
I wasn't even aware of that term until you explained it to me. So even though I've seen this kind of puzzle before, I didn't know that was what it was called. Yeah. So, Chip's Challenge. It's a top-down puzzle game, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it's a Sokoban on acid, really, isn't it?
Because every level, I'm just going to say it now, I only made it through 9.
Right.
And there's a reason for that, and it's mostly level 9. But let's get into level 1 was laughably easy.
Walk to the exit, probably, something like that.
You basically just had to pick up matching keys and take them to the corresponding color door.
Right.
Which is fine. Start me off easy. I don't mind. You have to get a certain number of chips to open a door that looks like a chip. Mm-hmm. And you get into a sort of teleport door at the end.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I quite understand the story of this. Just in the fact that, yes, I get it. In text at the beginning, it says he's eating in the cafeteria, and Melinda, the Mental Marvel, the girl of his dreams, sits down next to him and says, "Do you want to join the club?" And he says, yes. She says, "Well, first you have to beat these puzzles." So is he Tron-like been put into the game?
I always thought that, yeah.
It would make more sense to me.
Yeah.
He's in there. He seems to have his backpack. I think it's like a red shirt and green pants and big thick glasses. Even though he's a super tiny character, you can see exactly what's going on. I don't know how this looks compared to the original. I didn't look up any.
Pretty much the same, just a much bigger screen now, that's the only difference. But yeah, the sounds, like you said, the sounds are almost identical.
Yeah. When the game pops up, I don't even know if there's a full screen version to play. Yeah. It always seems to just take up a square in the middle of the screen.
Yeah.
By the way, that was one of my disappointments, is that we didn't at least even get to see Melinda the Marvel in the beginning.
Maybe you get to see her after level 144, man. You got to go back.
Well, that's what I'm hoping, if I get all the way through it, but we'll talk about that at the end. Level 2. I was really annoyed at level 2.
Not a good start.
You have to move blocks, so these sort of blocks that are brown.
The blocks of dirt.
Yeah.
You have to push into the water.
Yes.
And then they don't actually become walkable until you step on them again.
Yes, that was my problem. Because I thought, oh, great, I've made a place to walk across.
Mm-hmm.
Let me first off, the first time I messed it up and put it in the wrong place and I can no longer push it back. A huge problem with this game, constantly getting stuck into a corner if you make one wrong move and then having to start the level all over again. Which for level 2, not that big of a deal. It's pretty small.
Yep.
However, when we get to level 9, it's a very different story. Level 2, yeah, I have to move the blocks, and I did not understand that I needed to walk on them to make them. So even after that first attempt where I totally messed everything up, the second time, I was trying to push the block onto the dirt path that I had made, and it wouldn't go and wouldn't go, and I didn't understand it.
Yeah, you have to kind of tamp it down.
Yeah. And then it becomes gray metal like everything else.
Yeah.
It's so weird. And it's so unnecessary.
Right.
As we'll get to later, where you have to do it multiple times. It's like, all right. Because you have to do it, push the block, then step on it, go back at the next block, push it into the water, step on it. It just makes so many extra steps. This game loves its extra steps that we do not need.
Yeah.
I've already solved how to do the puzzle. I now have to do it 4 times.
Well, there's one level that I'm stuck on now, and I basically was like, oh man, screw this. But it's basically, you have to do that, but you're building the dirt bridge out, and you can't even see where you're going. And it's not until you get out into the middle of this lake where you realize, oh, I had to be 1 block up.
There was even one of those for me. Again, level 9. Okay. Let's get through so that I can talk about that one. Level 3 is another crazy one where you just get a bunch of what they refer to as tools. Flippers for water, Magnobots for some sort of green path or something. No, not the green path. There must be a...
It's like a conveyor belt kind of thing that's moving around, yeah?
Yeah, but I walked on some of those later without anything, so I don't think you need it for that.
There's the ice cleats.
We didn't get that in this level, but that makes sense to me. And, the ice sound is...
Ding, 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 ding.
It's worse than that. It's so much worse than that. Especially when you're having to deal with it in a puzzle. No, in level 3, flippers for water, magno boots for some sort of level, and fire boots for fire.
Mm-hmm.
So you can walk through fire. Pretty straightforward, not even really a puzzle, just teaching you the tools.
Right.
Level 4, here's where we start having buttons. So blue buttons move tanks up and down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all they do. It's not even really much of a puzzle. I was like, okay, this is going to be pretty easy. 144, I'm ready for this one. Green buttons that swap what blocks are in what place.
They open kind of doors, kind of, yeah.
Yeah. And again, not tricky at all.
No.
However, you have to move blocks to find hidden chips under them. Some of these dirt blocks.
Yeah.
And one of them had fire underneath. So go to push it and then die, start over again.
Incinerated, yeah. Gotcha.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
It's just not fair. It's not fun. And then every time you die, you hear, bummer.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that, yeah.
Level 5, talking about annoying sounds, there's just a constant beeping on this one. And I didn't even know what it was for a while. It is a purple dot that is bouncing over a button, which is firing these rotating orangish cubes across the screen. And it's stuck in this little pattern, so it's just doing it constantly. So you're getting the sound of the button being pushed, the sound of the dot bouncing around, and you're also getting the sound of the cubes being shot across. It wasn't too bad, though, once I figured out what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Get up, move the block that's keeping that purple dot in so that it can be on the other side so that you can get around to where the cubes were firing, and now you can get the chip from there, and then I think you can go up to the top of the screen, and you have to avoid something that's sort of moving around. They have this time where it's sort of like two metal jaws that are holding in a cube, and if you step on a button, then it releases the cube, and the cube will start rotating and dangerously moving around that section, so you just have to avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
Level 6 was a weird level. Well, I mean, they're all weird in some way. You have now blue walls, some of which are fake, so when you touch them, they disappear and you can walk through.
Oh, yeah.
But you also have random cube walls that are invisible until you touch them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a maze that you cannot see, and you just have to keep pushing your way around until you get to the exit.
Yeah, I do remember that level.
Also, in this one, there are bonus chips that I don't think you can get to. So each screen has a little question mark help thing you can step over. And this one said, well, explain the blue walls that might disappear, explain the invisible walls that will appear when you touch them. And also in this level, there might be some bonus chips. You only had to get 4, but there were 8. I don't know if there's a way to get the other 4. Because I walked all around everywhere, I touched everything, at least I think I did, and I did not find a way around. I even went all the way to the outside thinking, oh, this is going to be one of those where I have to go all the way to the opposite side, there's going to be one fake wall, and then I'll walk all the way around.
Right.
But I didn't find one.
I don't remember that level, so I'm not sure. But there has to be a way. There must be a way.
I imagine these early levels, for you anymore, you just blast through them and you don't even pay attention to them.
I'll have a look again. What was it, level 5? 4?
This was 6.
A 6. All right, I'll go and have a look.
Is there a limit to how many times you can restart levels?
No.
Okay.
No, I think you can just keep going forever.
And when I restart it, I can choose the level I want to start on, so long as I've already done it.
As long as you've done it, yeah.
Okay. And there's no limit to those. It's not like you only have 3 continues or something.
Oh, God, no, that would be terrible.
Okay. That is very good to know. Level 7 was just a tricky order of operations. There is a thief, which just looks like a cowboy bandit. It's just the head.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
He's got the bandana over his mouth and the cowboy hat on. And he's just sitting there in the section where a block should be. And if you try to get over him, he'll take whatever you want. So in this case, he'll take my flippers or my fire boots, I believe, for this one. And also, there's the teleporter that I sort of understand. There were 4 teleporter pads. And it seems like if I walk down into the teleporter, that'll put me in the teleporter next down. But it didn't always seem to work that way.
There's a one level later on, I don't know, maybe like level over a 100 where it's just like a screen full of those teleporters, man.
No.
And you're just like randomly going in and out of them trying to get to this exit, just blindfoldly barging your way through the level. It's horrible.
Oh, well, I may or may not have that to look forward to then. It was very tricky, though, just because, again, of the order of operations. Mm-hmm. Because once you get one chip, say, for example, you walk over the fire, and you get onto the green thing that moves you around, and you can't move against it. And maybe that's what those Magno boots were for. You could walk against it. But you're basically shoved up against the only way out is through the thief who's going to take whatever you want. So you can only grab one tool at a time and make sure to use that tool. And also, don't inadvertently touch one of the walls that will block you out the next time you try to go in. Because if you, say, get the flipper, but you touch one of the walls, now it's blocked off and you can't get back in again. So you'd have to restart again, as I did multiple times. All right, level 8. There are chopping teeth, like those wind-up teeth. They are a monster, the game tells me, which are stopped by paths of dirt and gravel. Mm-hmm. If you step on some of them, though, they become paths, and then the monster can attack you. So it took me a few tries to get sort of the timing and what I was actually doing, and also to even figure out where the chip was. I only needed one chip, but I had to race in, get the chip, and then get out before it could catch me.
Yeah, because those things are just like homing missiles, aren't they? They just keep coming for you.
And here's level 9. Here's where I probably spent at least half of the time.
Oh dear.
Because level 9 is no longer small. It's no longer one puzzle. They all of a sudden ramped it up so that you have multiple puzzles, multiple types, some things you've seen before, and I feel some things you have not. And every time you die, you have to start over at the beginning. Welcome to level 9, where the game, I assume, really begins.
Right, yeah, probably.
Yeah, like I said, it took me forever. The first part was not too bad. There are ants walking around, or not ants in the first one, I think it's those cubes moving around.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to time getting down to grab the key so that you can get into the door. Then there are a series of those green paths moving down. You have to start at the top and push your way over so that you can get to a blue wall that will disappear and then push through. Not too bad. This part, I can handle no problem. The next part, however, definitely frustrated me a bit. There's a key. You can see it, but there is a thin path of water, and you have 4 dirt cubes. And you have to do it in just the right order. And like I said before, you have to do that whole thing where you push it up to the water, then you step on it to make it. Well, that's 4 extra times I have to step on it. 4 extra steps. Really, 8 because you have to step on it and then step back again.
Yeah, and don't step too far because you'll step into the water.
Oh, many times, yes. And that's part of where Chip's Challenge really starts to irritate me, because I don't just have to do it one time. I was doing this for 30 minutes. So every time I'm going, why don't they just let me walk on the dirt path? Why don't they just let me walk on the dirt path? It's taking so many extra times. And then came one of those puzzles that you're very good at that I'm not. It was ice, and you have to step on the ice and get to the safe platforms and then find the right pattern to get around to get the chip. But you cannot see the whole thing at one time.
No, it's all... I know exactly the one you're talking, where you just like... You do that. It's got that spinning sound when you...
I hate that spinning sound so much.
Well, 30 minutes of that is probably torture, yeah.
And for some reason, and this one's on me, I just could never remember how to do the second half of it.
Mm-hmm.
I could pretty easily remember how to get to the chip. But the thing is, once you get the chip, minor spoiler here, you have to keep going to the right where you can't see. And I did many times try to go someplace I couldn't see, hoping there would be a square there, but there wasn't. And then by the time I've gone through the whole beginning part of the puzzle to get to this, well, the beginning of the level to get to this puzzle, I've now forgotten how I was supposed to do it before. By the end, I finally was speed running this part and I knew how to do it, but it took me so many times that it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
You get out of this one. Oh, yeah, by the way, you're surrounded by fire. So if you make a mistake in which way you go, it's not like, oh, I made a mistake and I need to find a way back to where I want to go. No. You're just dead. And you have to start over. Yeah. And probably 90% of the times that I went through, I would make a mistake, forget, end up back at the beginning, and at least not be dead.
Right.
Oh, I'm out. Oh, no, that's the beginning. I've got to go back again. But once you do finally figure your way out of the top, now we have a green button, which is really just best that you let the green path push you onto it and then step back onto it again, because that's what you really need to do. It's not even a puzzle. This one is more platforming in a way. Avoid the rotating death cubes, get up to the top, get, I think, the blue key, and then in front of each door, there is a brick. And so you have to use the key, open the door to get the next key, to step on the button, to go back, because the bricks are set to be in your way every time. So again, I'm having to do this what feels like 4 extra times every time. Once you get on the last section, that last door, there is an ice part that will push you through to the next one. But as I found out one time, those death cubes actually walk up, or they float over that. So if you don't time that right, then you will die on your way through. And you have no control over the ice thing, and you can't see if something's in your way. This is one of those times where the camera pans over after you're spinning.
Yeah.
So you just have to learn what is a bad time to step on it.
That sounds a lot like fun.
I think I only died on that part once. But the next part, a bunch of ants walking around a path, and you just basically have to wait until they bump into each other enough that they clear so you can run in quick, grab the chip, and then get out. Took me a few tries. And again, a few tries mean I had to go all the way back to the beginning again. Next section was stupid. It's just a long path down and then a chip surrounded by blue walls. So you just have to test them until you find the one that opens. But then remember, I have to do this every time. So walk all the way down, do that, walk all the way back, walk near all the ants, walk near the death to walk down into the next section, which is a little tricky. It's dirt blocks, and I have to move them over and down to get rid of bombs that are in my way. And it's just very tricky because it's so easy to make a mistake and get one put in a place that you can't touch it.
Yeah, if you push it, like you're supposed to push it 1 square, but if you push it 2 squares, it's flush with a wall, and then you're like, well, that's that.
There is no pull.
There's no undo button, which it really needs. It would benefit greatly from an undo button.
Yes. It would also benefit from allowing me to use the arrow keys. Maybe that's an option, but I was using WASD the whole time.
Oh, really?
And my left hand was getting tired. My right hand was going, I'm not doing anything here.
I thought I used the arrow keys, but maybe not. Maybe not.
There may be a way to reset it as well. After I finally got through that, then it's just such a harrowing thing. It's not even that big of a deal. If you do it slowly, you just have to go down, get a chip that's sitting out in the open, go up, walk between some bombs, get another chip, and then there's still 1 chip remaining. Well, there's a dirt block sitting there. Just push that up, and then you can get it. But there's so many times that I died because I pushed 1 too far and fell into a bomb.
Right.
Then you think you're done, and you feel great. You've got all of it. Now you just need to escape. Great. Go back up. Walk next to all the death ants. Go through your chip door. Oh, wait. There's still 1 more puzzle. And this took me probably 3 tries and should not have. There's a dirt block. There's a brown button. And there's one of those metal jaw things holding in a cube. I stepped on the button and thought, okay, great, I'm going to run across. Oh no, because you can't walk across the jaws. I didn't know that because I hadn't seen that before.
Right.
The only other time I'd seen the jaws before, I didn't have to step over them. So I didn't quite get it, and I died. And then the second time, I think I tried to risk it, and it didn't work. And then the third try, I realized I need to push the block onto the button and also get out of the way. And that was very scary because I was, every time you die, you have to do the whole thing over again, which just feels so punishing.
Yeah.
I moved it the wrong way.
No.
And I was in such a panic. How can I move it now so that I can still do it and get out of the way? And I made it. But that was 5 to 10 minutes after my hour.
Okay.
Because I wanted to finish this one before I stopped.
So level 10, here we come.
I didn't make it to level 10. I did not do level 10. I stopped after level 9.
That's what I mean. When you go back tonight, when you go back to play it again, because you love the game so much.
Do you want to ask that then?
Well, soon, yeah. Who would you recommend this game for then? I know who I would recommend it for, me, but...
Well, yeah, obviously, but I can't... You recommended it to me, so I can't recommend it back to you. Hey, you know what game you love? This game that you told me you love.
Chips Challenge 2. I still don't have Chips Challenge 2. I didn't buy it because it's not got the nostalgia factor for me. Even though it was probably cheaper to buy it in the bundle with 1, I still refuse to buy it because it's not the original.
I do have Chips 1 and Chips 2.
Oh, guess what's going on your Buyer's Remorse list?
My ever-growing list. Yeah, obviously, Sokoban fans. I think this is the type of game where, 1, especially since it's free, I'd recommend it to everybody to give it a try and see if you even like it. 2, I'd probably recommend it to people who, again, don't mind playing old games, because this has all the hallmarks of being an old game. Even though it's been remastered and it looks good, the sound effects are still really old chip stuff, and some of it is really grating.
And the controls as well. That 1 cell by 1 cell movement kind of stuff is dated, isn't it?
It is, and maybe it's just my twitchy fingers, but it seems way too easy sometimes to accidentally double move.
Yeah. It definitely is a skill that you have to pick up throughout the game where it's like just tap it, tap it, tap it.
Because you can just hold down the button and walk straight across.
Yeah.
That's probably about it.
Mm.
I don't think that this game has mass appeal.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that. What was it? The Intelligent Cube that you loved so much.
Oh, yeah, I love that game. Kurushi.
I think that that's another game that sort of, it has a very specific audience. And the people who love those games will love it.
Mm-hmm.
So people who love other Sokoban games, even things that we've somewhat recommended, like Friday the 13th, The Killer Puzzle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'd probably like this kind of game. Like I said, though, if it's free and it sounds at all appealing, you may as well give it a try and see if you like it. And I've already helped you out with level 9, so good luck with level 10.
One thing that I would say for anyone that is listening and either remembers Chips Challenge or would like to play, like you said, like old games, there's a publisher now doing the rounds on Steam called Pixel Games UK, and they are basically remastering a whole bunch of old Commodore games, Spectrum games, and recently they've been on like an Atari Lynx kick. They've re-released Slime World, Blue Thunder, Electro Cop, all the games that I remember from my old days. And so
Electro Cop sounds good.
It's awful. It's absolutely terrible.
What a shame.
But I was thinking of buying it because I was thinking maybe it was one of those games that was like too complicated for me as a kid. It was like really hard. It was weird. It was like a side-scrolling game. There would be like little doorways and you could come into the screen to like move through doors or go back. So it was it was kind of 3D, but in a 2D setting. But it was just, I didn't have a clue what I was supposed to be doing. I bought it, I played it once, and then I just basically threw it to the back of the drawer kind of thing and was playing, Chips Challenge mostly. But yeah, Pixel Games UK is definitely worth checking out if you've got a nostalgia feeling for like California games. Did you ever play California games?
Yes.
That stupid beanbag level, man. I hated that. The surfing was great. The beanbag one was rubbish.
My thing was always the skateboarding half-pipe. I was quite good at that one. Yeah. And what a huge transition from California games in my lifetime to Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
A little bit different. Yeah, a little bit different. So are you going to go back then? I mean, it's obviously you are going to go back.
I probably will.
Will you finish level 144?
Well, that depends on the 134 levels that happened before that.
There's some really, really, really punishing levels that are coming up, man. They get way worse than this. There's ones where even if you do everything to the T, you're still working against the clock, and so you can collect everything. But if you dilly-dally for 5 seconds, you're done. Because it's only giving you, like, an algorithmic amount of time that is, like, perfect for the level almost. You've got X amounts of missteps that you can make, and if you don't, you're doing it all again until you figure out how to do it the most efficient way possible.
I'm not sure I like the sound of that. I'll probably give it another try just to see. What I'm going to do, though, from now on is stop when it stops being fun.
Yeah.
That was the thing with this playthrough is our thing, play it for 60 minutes. Now, I could have taken a break and coming back. We haven't made any rule that says it has to be 60 continuous minutes. But
it's kind of an unwritten rule between us, though.
It is, really. And if I want that experience, if I had played this, say, at a friend's house, the first 5-6 levels, I would have been, yes, I need to get this game immediately. Or as soon as my friend returns it to the rental shop, I'm getting it as well. But level 9 would have made me go, I'm not sure it's worth my time.
Right.
Especially if it was back in the rental days, as this would have been like, oh, I have one night and I'll get through like 2 levels. That won't feel good.
No, exactly.
I think this is definitely a game where how long to beat, the number is probably way off because it's probably from people who know what they're doing and have played it.
3 hours. Yeah.
Whereas it took me half an hour just to get through one level.
It took me the better part of a year to finish. I did finish this game.
You did finish it. Have you finished it twice? Because
no.
You started it over again.
No, I finished it on the links, and then I bought it, and then I got to like level, I don't know what level I'm on. I think I'm on like level 35 or something like that. And I got to this stupid level where it's punishing. Really punishing. I'm just too old for that now. And it's not, like in the old days, you bought a game, and it cost you however many bucks, and you played that even if you didn't like it, you played it until you finished it. Now it's like, I've got 1,000 other games I can play. So tags then. What would you tag this bad boy as?
I mean, their tags were pretty good. Sokoban, Puzzle, Reboot, Logic, Free to Play.
Mm-hmm.
I like all of those. It's not really funny, though. Sokoban, obviously, because that is what this game is. Retro, I would go with, because you need to be aware of that to know the sounds and the look of it. And I'd probably go with Punishing. I wouldn't have said that really about the first 8 levels, but once you jump into level 9, and it's so many different puzzles, and if you make that mistake, then you have to do them all over again. Yeah, I would lean towards that, and as you said, it seems to get worse.
Oh yeah. I mean, you do get better, I think, but the twitchiness of the controls and like accidentally falling into water, accidentally stepping on flames, and they do make a point of you having to like navigate one pixel away from it, like to get around these things. If you're in a hurry, which you are sometimes, it's like, yep, I'm in the fire again. Whoops.
Bummer.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that, yeah.
Here's one thing I will say.
Yep.
Just before you get to the final question. The one bit of joy I feel that I will take out of suffering through level 9 is that you're probably going to end up having to watch this video, and you're going to be watching it knowing the answer, but unable to help me or unable to make it go any faster.
Me just screaming at the screen, no!
Yes, that is the joy that I will take out of this one. And that's the thing. I think much of the game, at least thus far, has not really been difficult puzzle-wise. It's just difficult order of operations and being patient enough not to make a mistake. And that isn't the thing I like most about a puzzle game.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're expected just to take a leap of faith off screen into danger. It's like, oh, I didn't make it that time. So I have to, you're basically looking at the clock saying, I jumped over at 88 seconds remaining. Now I'll try it at 87 and see if I can make it. I didn't make it. I'll try it at 86. Oh, I made it. So buyer's confirmation or buyer's remorse then?
I don't remember what I paid for it, but I know it wasn't much. And I got some bundle where it had at least chips 1 and 2 in it. I think level 9 felt a bit like a remorse. But overall, it's a pretty decent game. And I can see people enjoying this. And it would be awful of me to kind of trash a game that is from like decades ago for being made decades ago. I think as crazy as it was fun to play a game where chomping teeth chase after me and giant ants walk around and you're just pushing some blocks around. It does enough interesting stuff. Has so many tools that I could see as I've basically just gone through the tutorial. There can be some interesting stuff that this game will do. So far, even though half the hour was pretty bad, that first half hour was a lot of fun and I enjoyed it. So I'm going to be favorable and say this was a confirmation.
Buyer's confirmation.
Yay. Melinda still has a chance.
I don't think she cares.